I hate these masks and foggy glasses.
I know, I have that problem all the time.
I was supposed to be able to see, but apparently I can't.
So we're going ahead and streaming now.
Okay. All right, I want to welcome everybody to the Ag Advisory Board Workshop. I'm glad you could be here. And our goal is to be able to discuss what our goals are for the year and a little bit about what we do and why we do it. And so we can learn about each other, either wherever you want to start. And we're going to kind of get to know each other a little bit and what you have on your mind. So, and with that, I'm going to introduce you to Jennifer. This is Jennifer Moss. Some of you may know her. She is a assistant.
You want to know my face?
Yeah, she's assistant at Oconee County Museum.
Yes.
Did I say it right?
Oconee History Museum.
History Museum. I knew I lived in a word. How can I do that?
Yes.
But anyway, if you haven't had an opportunity to go to the History Museum, you should.
We do have agriculture, a lot of agriculture-related
Yeah, we do.
displays in there, so come on and visit.
And it's really interesting. It brings up a lot of memories for me because I grew up here and I'm part of the history, I guess you could say.
Right.
So, but anyway, I'll let Jennifer kind of take it over for us, and she can.
Yeah, just
guide
kind
us.
of what we're going to go over tonight is we're going to do a little icebreaker first to get to know each other. And then we're going to go over kind of what the Ag Board does. And then we're going to go over coordinating some goals and some examination of the board here. So without that, I want you to introduce yourselves to me so I know you. So I'm going to say my name, Jennifer Moss. And then what is one thing you love about agriculture here in Oconee County? That's what I want you to do. Your name and what you love about agriculture. And I love agriculture here because it is so diverse here. We have a lot of agriculture and we need to promote it more. I love, every time I go somewhere, I promote Oconee apples. That's my big thing. I love the apples here. So that's my big thing for agriculture. So we'll start with Debbie.
I'm Debbie, and I don't know if I can pick out one thing I like about agriculture, but I do like the fact that we do have a local variety of things that we can have, because I do love food. And like I said, I grew up here with a mother who was a fantastic country cook. And so I try to emulate her. I don't get anywhere close to what she did, but I try. And if I can buy local, I buy local.
I'm Charlie White. Like you said, I was born and raised here and always been in agriculture. My dad, my grandfather was, and I grow soybeans and wheat and corn getting ready. I hope when it gets dry we can plant some corn. But I also have 4 broiler houses, and I like to, I guess my best thing, like you talk about the diversifying of crops that we have in the county. Do a lot of kids tours in the schools before COVID hit. And showing the kids that soybeans right beside like Fair Oak, I got soybeans right there, and showing them how we take them soybeans and sell them, and then Fieldale turns around and buys back the meal and mixes it with the feed, and then they bring it back to feed the chickens that they get to eat, and that kind of stuff. It's just a big circle.
That's wonderful.
And that's happening right here in the county. And I tell the kids, no other county in the upstate can say that because they don't have the broiler operations like we do.
Right.
We got 300 and something chicken houses in this county. And that's a lot of chicken.
That is. We're like really high up in the state for poultry production.
We're number 1.
Number 1. That's awesome.
Hi, yeah, I'm Rex Blanton. I grew up in Oconee on a small farm. I love farming and agriculture, and I guess the biggest thing is just the smell of the soil and the fresh cut board, plowing the land, just what all we can produce here in the county. It's a very broad spectrum, and the fact that we're so high up in many categories, it's really surprising for people that don't know.
Right, a lot of people that come, to the museum, they're like, oh, the low country in the middle has tons of farms and stuff. And I'm like, we gotta hear.
I'm Tessa Moxley. I also was born and raised here. I have, post-college, spent my time in Hawaii, so I'm just getting back here after 5 years there. And so I'm just getting into the ag kind of community as an adult here. But I do love, Oconee County is just, it's really it's a great place to grow stuff. And so I'm excited to be able to just see what kind of opportunities. It seems like there's an effort going on right now to really get agriculture connected and moving towards a really good sort of community. So I'm excited about just being involved with it.
I'm Ashley Townsend. I did not grow up here. I grew up in Aiken County, North Augusta. My grandparents had a farm in Edgefield and in Columbia, South Carolina, so I grew up exposed, but wanting to learn more. So I moved to Long Creek after college and fell in love with apple country and that area specifically of this county. But yeah, just super interested in the diversity we can grow here and what that means for rural culture and preserving that.
Awesome. Great. Come on in. We'll put you on the hot spot.
Tell us who you are. Come on in.
Yeah,
Over here.
come on. We're just finishing introductions,
Oh.
so you get to tell your name,
Hi, how you?
and then one thing you love about agriculture here in Oconee County.
Okay. I'm Larry Cantrell, and I don't know. I think the part I love about the agriculture in Oconee County, I guess they sound cliche, but it's the people that I get to deal with. Everybody's been since I got in the cattle business. Everybody has been very open and willing to help in any way.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm Jennifer Moss. I was just introducing myself. We're going to do one little icebreaker now. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Carrie couldn't be here tonight.
Uh-huh.
She's our, I always get
Ex
wrong.
officio?
Ex officio. I always try to say something else. She is an ex officio. She sent me her bio, and I'll just give you briefly, and I'll tell you what I think she likes about Oconee. Anyway, she worked for Clemson Extension here in Walhalla, in case you didn't know, and she didn't grow up here, but she has spent a lot of time here and has a lot of connections here in Oconee County. She serves us by providing industry feedback, making connections, and offering input and information for us. So, just in a nutshell, that's in case once I guess they get released, she'll join us again on the ag board. So she just they're not allowed to go to meetings. Extension's not. So, but anyway, she sent me her bio. I shortened it for her. And Kim will be here. She's had to work. She works in Easley.
Okay.
So she's on the road.
She's on the road here. Okay,
So she'll be
great.
here in a little bit.
Would you like to participate, Adam, since you are kind of a part, you are the advisor,
that holds
the
this world
counter, yeah, the glue.
So what are we doing here? So my icebreaker?
You may.
All right, so mine's,
And icebreaker, we're
sure.
fixing to go.
My name's Adam Chapman, from St. Augustine, Florida. The thing I love about agriculture is that it's the only job that matters. All of this can go away. Any other position you think of in the world can go away. But farming at its core is the only job in this entire world that actually matters. Because without it, without food, no one's doing anything else. So it really is the focus point of all the rest of our civilization. So
All right. So we're going to do a little icebreaker. It's kind of, we know this is a hot commodity now, but however, we're going to do this. So, usually with one of these strategic planning meetings, if you've ever been to another one, you go on a retreat somewhere, it's usually like out in the woods or something like that. So we're going to just use our imagination today. And we're gonna pretend that we are going on a retreat here somewhere in Oconee County, because we support Oconee County places, right? Okay, so we're gonna go together on a hike. So what I want you to do is take enough toilet paper for a whole day hike. You're gonna be gone from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So take enough for the whole day.
Yeah, I don't know
Take
y'all
what you
gonna
think
do,
you
but I'm
need
taking them
for a
all.
whole day.
Man.
What time are we leaving in the morning?
7 a to 7 p.m.
Makes a difference.
One of us runs out, we can share.
There you go. All right. So, I tricked you. So, we're getting to know each other, but not in that way. So, each sheet, you've got to tell a fact about yourself.
Oh, great.
It could be anything in the world.
You mean
Any-
each little?
Any little thing. So I got, count your squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6. And Adam,
Here's some markers and stuff here. If anybody needs them, there's pens on the table.
all right. So I've got 6. So I'm going to tell you 6 facts about me. I grew up here in Oconee County. I work at Oconee History Museum as its assistant curator. I am president of the South Carolina Federation of Museums. I love medieval British history as my skill set, but you know, it was 2008 when the economy crashed. I couldn't go over to England to do my job, so I got here, went back home, and came here and did history, and I love it. I have 12 chickens, and then I like to grow flowers in my garden. So, Debbie, how many squares?
I had 11.
Okay, so 11 facts.
Okay.
11 facts.
I grew up in Seneca. I live in Jocassee now in the forest. I am, let's see, I graduated from Clemson University with a degree in entomology. I work for USDA, both as in regulatory, and I'll make this the other one. I worked in research as well, both with cotton. I also sold ag chemicals with a new innovative fly control product. I worked in the poultry houses, so I have some experience with Charlie's business over there. So what mostly was in breeder houses. I'm certified to forage wild mushrooms and sell wild mushrooms. Believe it or not, it's been a little too wet for wild mushrooms. When I find them, they're just destroyed. Let's see, I got a few more. Let's see, my family has one of the Century Farms here in Oconee County. My uncle was a dairy farmer. He was blind all his life, but he ran a dairy farm. My parents both grew up on farms that are now covered by Lake Huey. Let's see, what else is interesting about me? Oh, I don't have any children, but I have 3 four-legged children, 2 cats, and a dog. That's my animal portion of this. And I guess one of the most important things I'm doing right now with my life is that I advocate for agriculture and for the environment. And it goes along with that, we have Oconee Bell in our yard, and I'm a staunch protector of Oconee Bell. I think that's it. That's 11.
All right, Kim. We are background to this. We are going on a pretend hike, and I want you to take as much toilet paper as you need for a hike going from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
You can borrow some of mine.
Yeah. Took too much.
You took too much.
Sorry, no hints.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you do? Alright, so I tricked you.
Yeah, you did.
We're going around each sheet. You have to tell one fact about yourself per sheet. So, next up, Larry, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, you know my name. I'm 57 years old. Married. Got 2 kids, 6 grandkids. I went to Walhalla High School. Graduated in '81. Played football at Walhalla. I played on the last team from Walhalla to beat Seneca in high school football.
Oh, well, I'm from Seneca, so.
So,
I remember that, actually.
1979.
That's
I
awesome.
graduated from high school.
Yeah.
I remember it well.
I went to Tri-County Tech. I have a degree from Tri-County Tech, associate's degree in industrial electronics. I've spent most of my life working in industry in maintenance department as a maintenance manager for the last 15 years I was in industry. My dad's family, they're all builders, and I grew up as a builder's son, and so that was ingrained in me, and something that I really wanted to continue. So now I am a home builder. I build in the Oconee County area. I'm certified in AI, artificial insemination for cattle. I do my own AI breeding. I do embryo transfer. I don't do the embryo transfer myself. I have donor cows, and we do embryos.
Cool.
I raise registered red Angus cattle. I have about 80 head right now, and trying to think. I had 13 things. So.
That's about right. We won't be like spot on.
Like I said, I was born and raised here. Graduated in '77. Went to Tri-County Tech, and I started working for the DOT. And I always farmed, did row cropping, and I'd help my neighbors farm and do this. I always wanted to farm on my own. And it was hard coming up. It was real hard. I would, work, like I say, and pick up a piece of land and this and that and the other, and grow a crop on it. I worked at DOT for 31 years, and I would farm. I guess that was my side job, because farming took the whole time and all the money too. But anyway, I enjoyed that. And, me and Sherry, we've been married for 31 years. Got 3 kids, Andy and Sam and Holly. Got 2 grandbabies and 1 on the way in August.
Oh, congratulations.
And they're all girls.
Oh, we gotta raise up them girl farmers. That's
I
right.
get it too. But anyway, I bought chicken houses and then, tried to help the boys get in that. And I've had those for about 18 years now. So it's been good. It's up and down. Chicken business is pretty good. Like I say, I did red lights with the DOT. I was a signal specialist. And, I enjoyed that also. It got hectic toward the end, but it
Well, I
was
bet.
good. It was still pretty good. But my heart was at the farm. I couldn't wait to get home to start planting and harvesting and what.
Yeah.
like I said, I grow wheat, soybeans, and corn. And I don't know if y'all seen the commodities now, but the commodities are out the roof. They're up big time. A lot of money could be made this year if we handle it right in the
Yeah.
county. I seen cotton yesterday. I know it's not telling about me, but cotton's hitting $1 a pound. It hadn't been $1 a pound in 10 years.
That's great.
Don't have any in the county.
But anyway, I enjoy agriculture, and it's been good to me, and people's asked me before, would I change? No, I wouldn't do anything. Just depend on the good Lord to, keep you going and keep the rain and the sunshine, and depend on Him.
That's right.
I guess that's pretty well. And, I mentioned the last meeting we had, the Carolina Foothills Heritage Fair, we started it for the kids to have a place to show cows. We had lost the Anderson County Fair, and my kids didn't have anywhere to show, or none of the kids had nowhere to show cows, so we kind of got together.
That's my
Got it.
favorite thing to do every year. I love the fair.
And it was a good avenue, and
Yes.
then the Ag Center has grown in from
Yes.
that. So,
Lots of good things going on.
a lot of good.
All right, Kim?
I have 9.
Okay.
Thanks for the hint.
Yeah, really.
Well, I was not born in Oconee County, but I am originally from South Carolina in Pickens County. Married someone from Oconee County. Originally went to Tri-County Tech after I graduated from Pickens High School, and I majored in their animal science. That was the switch over to Clemson, and then on to vet school. Was going to Auburn, chose not to, went back to school and went to MCG, Medical College of Georgia, and got my certification in dental, x-ray certification, practice management, and I'm a dental hygienist assistant, and I do all the credentialing for our office. And I am married, like I said. I married someone from Oconee County. We bought a family farm in Oconee County. Was asked to do the research. Actually, buying the farm caused the research. She wouldn't sell us the farm till she knew who I was. She didn't ask that much about his family. She asked a whole lot about mine. And so she tied it back together that my husband and my brother-in-law were distant cousins. One's a Smith and one's an Alexander, and I'll leave it right there. So after we went through all of that, a few years later, I went on to look at it to see, and Rex knows, it's kind of my passion, is to register as many farms that are like that, family farms, with the Century Farm program. So I went through that process, and our farm is registered with the Century Farm program. We mainly do trees, have a little bit of hay, but we mainly raise horses. For a number of years, back in the early 2000s, we produced the Salem Rodeo, because that's where we're located, on Highway 11. I have 3 kids. One just graduated college, one in college, and one that works as a package car driver for UPS. And as I said before, we have mainly horses, but we mainly have cutters and reiners. That's what we kind of do. Few barrel racers, racing horses, but mainly cutters and reiners.
Well, I too grew up in Seneca, Seneca High School. I went to Tri-County Tech, went to Abraham Baldwin, finished at Clemson finally in Ag Ed, and then went in the military and traveled around a good bit. Retired from that, came back to South Carolina, came to Alabama, retired in Alabama, worked for Wells Fargo Armored Car Service in Georgia as a manager for 2 years. Got my teaching certificate back up to speed, came back to South Carolina, taught Ag Ed, taught agriculture in middle and high school, and some at Clemson too. I grew up in the house my great-grandfather built, about 1800, and I've been at Clemson since 2000 in the plant sciences department. First it was entomology, and then it's evolved into plant and environmental sciences. So I'm a technician with them helping conduct research and helping the professors take care of all their equipment and whatnot. And I manage the insectary, the farm that Entomology uses. And I married my high school sweetheart 32 years ago, and we have one son who's in the PhD program at Ole Miss. And I enjoy working around the house, taking care of the 200-year-old farm, what's left of it, growing some trees and repairing a whole lot of old buildings and vehicles and stuff. So it keeps me pretty busy. But I love agriculture, love being outdoors, just it's where I'd rather be.
Awesome.
And I enjoy being on this body and promoting agriculture in the county because we need to promote it.
For sure. Tessa?
I was born and raised in Mountain Rest. I graduated from Walhalla High School. I played soccer there, and I went to Clemson, and I majored in animal science, and I double minored in agribusiness, equine agribusiness, and Spanish language. And then I've worked at Camp Chattooga most summers of my life. And I moved to Hawaii with my husband. I guess he's now my husband, but I moved to Hawaii in 2016 and managed a tropical flower farm there. We did farm-to-table arrangements. We shipped all over the U.S. It was 400 acres. It was a lot of work. And it was all sustainable organic practices, and was able to triple revenue while we were there, and worked with ecotourism, as well as the superfood tree production with products as well. And so I worked a lot in marketing and just managing the business employees as well. So after that, we moved back here, and we moved here this fall, and we're currently rebuilding my great uncle's house that he built way back in the day. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now. I'll be the director of sustainability at camp this summer, and I'm really passionate about kind of working on agriculture for the transition, because a lot of agriculture is in older hands, and we're kind of getting to a point where younger people need to take over, and there's some barriers to that. And so I'm interested in trying to kind of facilitate younger agriculture, as well as sustainable practices, because it just makes sense financially and ecologically. And I had a lot of sheets of toilet paper, but I think that's...
We're okay. I'm not going to be a stickler.
Yeah.
Ashley?
I have 5, but I'll just say some things. I graduated from Clemson with a Bachelor's of Science in Environment and Natural Resource Management and a minor in anthropology. Originally, I wanted to be in Park Service or Forest Service, but then I fell in love with anthropology and the human connection to land through food. So got really interested in agriculture and moved to Long Creek to work at Chattooga Bell Farm, and then got into agritourism, and that's really what I feel like I can bring to this board, is that perspective. And I'm also a whitewater raft guide on the Chattooga River, and I grew up hunting, and I really like that still, and I think that's it.
Right, that's great. See, it's getting to know each other is an important way of working in a group, because you know your what everybody else knows, and like you've got just listening to y'all have so many things in common here, in a lot of boards that doesn't happen. But y'all are here, y'all are united because you love agriculture and you bring different things to the table. So tonight we're gonna review kind of your mission. We're gonna go over and create some goals for you. I know you have some goals in the comp plan, but we're gonna kind of go over those and see what you can manage to do. We are going to, I'm going to use these acronyms tonight. We're going to soar into SMART goals. So, SOAR, and I have to have papers I can't remember every acronym because I have so many in my brain already. So, we're gonna SOAR tonight. We're gonna identify our strengths, our opportunities, our aspirations, then we're gonna get results. And then we're gonna make those SMART goals, because if you don't have a goal that's attainable, what are you gonna do it? We gotta make specific, our goals have to be specific, measurable, achievable, that's the important part, relevant, and then time sensitive or time bound. So that's what we're gonna talk about tonight. Let me get my other papers. So, what I usually, with one of these, I go over your mission statement. So we'll have that fresh in our mind. So, the mission statement of the Oconee County Agriculture Advisory Board is, the mission of the Oconee County Agriculture Advisory Board is to educate our community on the importance, significance, benefits, economic and cultural impact agriculture has on our region through communication and cooperation with the various public, agricultural, and industrial concerns in order to ensure agriculture's vital role in the economy and that the character of the county are both maintained and improved. That's a lot. So if you ever need to go, if you don't have that on there, we can revisit that. But just keep that in mind. Those big, important words out of your mission statement are important, significant benefits, economic and cultural impact to agriculture. Those are kind of your big things that you kind of want to keep in the back of your mind. So your responsibilities in this board, to serve as an advisory to council on any matter concerning agriculture, to ensure that the diverse agricultural interests in the county are both supported and developed. There's more, but I'm just going to keep it short and simple. Formulate plans and recommend their implementations to county council, including and not limited to ways to bolster agribusiness, agritourism, and agriculture in general. To make policy recommendations through the Planning Commission and to county council regarding agricultural land use. To coordinate policy development with other jurisdictions and agencies to better promote the agricultural industries, and to serve as an educational and public awareness forum for agricultural related topics. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind as we go over tonight. If you know, in your little packet you received when you got on board, there was the comp plan, and maybe Adam, or what was your name again? Lauren. If you want to, I don't know if you want to step in with some of the comp plan goals, or
They have printed of the comp plan stuff? Thanks. So you all worked on this, you all as a group, maybe individually, worked on this last year. These are basically, it's 10-year goals, it's flexible, be stringent in your goals and flexible in the way you get there, kind of thing. So just kind of look at them, this time frame for review or for evaluation, that really should take time frame. It can change. The world changed last year, so this plan can certainly change. So just when you look at it, take it with a grain of salt, see what pops up, if there's some sort of development that's occurring, some kind of thing that sends some of these goals or strategies or objectives to the top. Don't be just like, oh, well, this is 2025, so we can't do anything about it this year. Just go ahead and grab hold of it and see what you can do with it.
And if you, a lot of probably some of your goals or what you thought about beforehand are in this, and we can identify that later on in our progress. But we want to discuss things that you want and are able to obtain. So our first, we're going to go over I can spell, sorry. Alright, so brainstorm, come at me. What are your strengths for this board? What can you do?
I'm not clarified. What do you mean, what can we do? Like,
What do you think that you can be strong at doing within your role here?
advocate?
Individually or as a group?
It could be individual or as a group. So you said, Kim said advocate.
Support other groups.
Support.
Represent all the different areas we're involved with.
Represent what, Ashley?
Like the different areas of agriculture we're involved with.
Educate.
Communicate?
Would listen be under communicate?
I think that would be different. Listen, that's good.
Sometimes I think we don't, we hear, but we don't listen.
Yes.
It don't
And,
suit me.
Yeah.
cultivate ideas.
Ultimate ideas. Y'all've gotten good. This is usually when I do one of these things, it's like pulling teeth. Y'all were just like bam, bam, bam. So give yourself a little pat on the back here. Any other strengths that you think you can do? Think that
Coordinate among the various groups that we have that often don't work together. I did, my little acronym was the 3 C's: communicate, coordinate, and cooperate.
yes.
If
And
we could do that, we'd be
cooperate. Yeah, that's a good one.
3 C's.
The 3 C. I like that. All right.
You tell
So-
me agree or disagree.
So if we can get that cooperation thing going, we strong.
Right.
I think we're pretty diverse. It may be in there somewhere already, but
Yeah. We can just.
I know we know a lot of people with just who we community with and who we interact with. We know a lot of people, each one of us.
Right.
So, like spokes on the wheel, maybe.
We'll just do this. This is awesome. Y'all are great. Anything else? All right. We are going to. Is this one of the? Yes, it is.
Sticky back.
Is a sticky yes. Only the best.
That's right.
Adam. I'm gonna put it on the wall. Woo. Y'all are on fire tonight. All right. So look at all the strength that you feel. That's awesome. Y'all feel empowered tonight.
You got a toilet paper.
Yeah.
Ready.
The toilet paper was the trick. So next, and we're soaring together, is opportunities. What opportunities do you think you have as a group? This can be, opportunities to do anything, something in the community that you can kind of pull from. Just,
I've got kind of one. It's
okay.
I don't know if this counts into it, but there's a coalition called National Young Farmers Coalition, and there are currently no chapters in South Carolina, and it's something that with the connections that everyone has is something that could be a really great thing with a larger support system for, it's catered to young farmers, but it's for any farmers of any age, just creating networks.
Can I ask you a question? Is this part of the Farm Bureau's Young Farmer Program?
So I actually printed stuff off. So this is I don't wanna be that like overzealous person, but I just printed something off for a lot of time right now. So that's my way too long bio, you can skip that, and, the back 2 pages are about the National Young Farmers Coalition, and that's for her. So you can read that too. So that's just for perusal, but the back pages will kind of explain the purpose of the National Young Farmers Coalition. And I don't know that I think it's just a national organization in its own. I don't know that it's necessarily affiliated with.
The only reason I asked that is, my oldest son, who went to Clemson, was fortunate enough to do the Farm Bureau debate. And they had a young farmer, when they traveled to that national convention, there was a young farmer, and they do the award here, I see it quite a bit, it's under 35 for the Young Farmer of the Year award. And are y'all, aren't you on the Farm Bureau? Am I saying that correct? Is that part of this, or?
My son's the chair of that Young Farmer and Rancher Committee.
Yes, that's-
That would be,
You need to
yeah,
talk with him
interested in,
to
yeah, that's,
get that all together.
definitely.
It's
I
a
think
small
that's a
world.
great idea.
That's right. See,
It is.
connections, y'all are
That's
brought to
my
the table in good ways.
Right.
Look
Yeah,
at
that would be
this.
great. I'd love
What
to get some
other
connection.
opportunities do you see, or opportunities in the community that you can capture on, things that are going on around, or,
We have the opportunity to be involved with the Food Policy Council that's gonna be starting soon.
And the city garden is breaking ground this spring as well.
Is that the Walhalla, the city garden?
I'm just gonna put community gardens in general, because I know there's several popping up. Or this can be policy. Is there any, like, I'm not in the ag flow here. Is there anything, policy-wise that's coming up, or, anything that's going on nationally, statewide, that you have an opportunity to either speak your voice, or,
I think,
join in with, or?
I think COVID has presented an interesting opportunity to relook at some systems. Not a very fortunate opportunity, but
I think
The,
it's
tax meat processing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that, yes, COVID has presented that
it's
as
really
an
highlighted some,
opportunity.
Yes.
some areas that need attention.
Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say. It's not, and it's just not protein processing, it's processing across the board as far as value-added products.
Would ag processing be?
Yes, instead
term-
of, yeah, it's an
term.
all-encompassing thing, it's something that we could look at. You know, as,
Okay.
even like cooler space and that
Right.
kind of thing.
Right.
I know state by state, SNAP benefits at farmers markets can be hard for individual producers to process that.
Uh-huh.
And states have the opportunity to provide the equipment
Mhm.
for SNAP, because it's all gone digital.
Yeah.
And so it's harder to accept SNAP, and so farmers would benefit from equipment that they could use that they don't have to spend a bunch of money on for selling, in order to sell more produce at farmers markets.
I had a thought with that today. Most likely they would be doing that selling at markets, right?
At
So
markets, yeah, direct, it would be direct.
What if markets just had like a central station of
Yeah, exactly.
EBT processing, not the
Mhm.
individual producer having to get that equipment, but just like each market?
Yeah, true.
If statewide, if they could set it up and each vendor would have a number.
They used to
Right.
have a,
Yeah.
You could, at the end of the.
Keep track of the
tally out.
transactions.
they came out when they first came out with the farmer's market connection with that. It had to be an individual farmer, and there was a vendor that came out with the machines or whatever that you
Right.
could take them. And a lot of people got turned off because the machines ended up costing more than they were
Exactly.
making.
It's not worth it.
So, yeah, having a centralized thing for whatever, if the state could come up with a plan that you could have like a vendor number or something like that, and.
I know California has it going pretty, because they're all agriculture.
Yeah.
So I know that they have that going on right now. It might be a good thing to look at.
We talked about it at the fairground, one day having a cannery.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm
One
talking
over-
about, is the
Over in East Denali.
A DHEC-approved kitchen, right?
kitchen,
That's what we need.
yeah.
Historically, every town had a cannery.
Yeah.
We had
I
one,
remember going.
we had more than
So
one,
many
actually.
people
but-
wants to can, I grew up on canned beef and canned deer and
Right, yeah.
corn and everything.
And it's so hard for like cottage industry selling because you have to have the DHEC and there's no really DHEC kitchens around, so they have to find there's opportunities for that.
Better than frozen stuff.
I think we have,
Thinking,
Well, I don't know how to say it. I think it's not, it goes along with the SNAP, the market.
Okay.
Marketing, it's just marketing for farmers. I mean, marketing what, a friend of
What we
mine
have.
makes honey.
Right.
What's I guess, I think one of y'all had some of that in your background in marketing. Like I sell freezer beef. I mean, I'd love to be able to, sometime maybe sell it individual cuts, but I know there's a process to go through to get that.
right,
processing,
right?
Yeah.
that's part of it.
That's part of it,
I
definitely.
also think an industry, private corporation, bringing industry into it, like, say, like Duke Power sponsoring some of the farmers market stuff, or, I know with honeybees, it made me think of there's a group called Bee Downtown, and they actually partner with industry and have, usually they have a beekeeper on staff, and they have bees on their property, which, helps everybody and the environment that's there, but,
Okay.
it's just a private industry corporation.
Farmer protections, like with this disclosure letter, and like with zoning, I guess, a little bit, but just like protecting farmers from people trying to.
Conservation.
Conservation.
Yeah.
Which ties back to education, because a lot of them don't want it because they don't understand it.
Right.
Because we are losing a lot of our farmland for development.
Right.
A lot of education is an opportunity.
Always an opportunity, great.
Like y'all mentioned, the folks around here, if they live on the lake and if they just go to town, they never see the ag going on.
No.
Finally, when they see it, here comes a big
Right.
15-foot combine coming at them, they don't know what to do.
Right,
And I think, educating, we came up in a different day, when we had driver's ed in school. We learned how to drive around farm
Right.
equipment, we drove on the
Right.
interstate. We
the
knew-
etiquette is not there anymore.
Exactly.
Yes.
And kids nowadays, my 3 kids, they never took them and drove them around farm equipment or learned them
Right,
what to do or how to do.
Right.
And every state,
Right.
another state, especially up north, does that.
Yeah,
They
it's-
educate people.
it's amazing, and a lot of kids, especially like in the cities, they don't see it. We have kids, when we go at the History Museum, when we go do a tour for Blue Ridge Elementary in downtown Seneca, they don't know that there's lakes around here. They don't know there's farms around here. So it's a lot of that education. So I totally agree with you.
That kind of ties in also with young farmers
Uh-huh.
and the need for young
Right.
farmers. And so starting somehow in the school district
Right,
so that people know that this is a career
right,
that is diverse.
Okay.
There's any number of types of farming that you can
Yeah.
do.
Let's put school
Kind of
district,
inspiring
because I think
children.
that's,
The districts around us, and I know you guys know this because you're involved with cattle, but like District 3 in Anderson, Crescent High School has drive your tractor to school day.
oh, yeah.
I mean,
Right,
and
That's awesome.
yeah, it's
so,
a lot of,
somehow And they also have other types of things. I mean, they also have a rodeo arena. They have, you know, a
Right.
show cow. They use that arena. It's a multi-purpose arena.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
going to call it a
definitely.
rodeo arena. I think somebody did, but I mean, they do cattle shows. They do hog shows. They do goat shows. So they're educating their population. And I just think we need a similar thing
Right.
with.
Because like when I was in school, there was no FFA in Seneca. You
Right.
know, like I would have loved something like that, but you know, there's just the opportunities aren't there. So we, you know,
And I know that Oconee County we're big meat producers. The percentage of just kind of produce for consumers rather than livestock is almost, I mean, it's super, super low. And so I think with like FFAs too, it's usually more geared towards the animal industry. And if there was more, you know, not everyone wants to raise cattle, but they might not realize that farming could be something else as well. So like kind of, I guess, diversifying that within the education too.
Valhalla, when they built the new high school, they have those two or three nice greenhouses.
Oh, really?
And I often wonder they're small, but I mean, I think they could produce.
Yeah.
And I often wonder if they're really being used to their full potential. I know what I was going to say. Do we have the opportunity with COVID, we talked about those other things, for looking at maybe how we could be self-sustaining?
Yeah.
Could we
boosting
survive
local?
just being local, self-sustaining? I know we have food deserts in areas. However, we have a lot of other things. Could we look at how we could, and encourage people, if they did nothing more than grew their own community gardens, own backyard gardens, and educated that way? And bought more local, if we could educate that.
I think we have an opportunity for local markets too, like she was talking about food deserts. I drive 30 minutes, I have to drive 30 minutes either way to get.
we'll put
Yeah.
food desert.
Yeah, Mountain Rest is a food desert. But I like it.
Walhalla,
I said,
Seneca classified
Yeah,
under
there's some things, but every once in a while
council meeting we had, Walhalla, Westminster, Seneca,
that's a shame. There's so
Yeah.
much.
are classified
Right.
food deserts.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ask my children, they said, but we choose to live here because we want to grow our own.
Well, that's
and
true,
that's
but every
fine,
once in a while,
but
I'd like to be able
At the same time,
to
there's
go
got
buy
to be some.
a fresh
Right,
vegetables
you
without
want
having
fresh
to go to.
stuff.
Some people that don't have the means to travel.
But that's true. I mean, I don't know what would, in fact, I learned when our road was out for a month that how hard it was to carry food in for half a mile. You know, it was like, but,
And not everyone can make
Do
it to a
they?
farmer's market on
Right.
a Saturday.
Right.
well,
That's
nice to have
Debbie's
another
new
day.
hobby.
That's my thing, but
So, are we good on our opportunities? Do you think we
Quite
have?
there.
there's so many opportunities.
I know, y'all are on fire, really.
We got
Now,
our
when-
homework.
Like I said, sometimes when I do these things, it's like pulling teeth to get information about anybody,
I thought
so.
you would never have problems
Thank
this
you.
with talking.
And I know a lot of these go together, but they kind of overlap, but. What are your aspirations?
Oh, wow.
It can be big or little. And that kind of goes along with something what we'll do about goal setting in a few minutes.
You're looking at me.
I'm like, you're the leader.
Oh, really? Well, I want to, one of the things that personally that I want to do, and I think that it supports our mission as well, is I would like to have a market, whether it was a co-op with friends or whatever, especially particularly in the Salem area where I live, that only sells local. And when I say local, I'm not necessarily talking about Oconee County when I'm talking about that, because as we
like
would
hiking.
starve to death. in the
Yeah.
morning. But also, I'm talking about, you know, the local area. Depending on what it is, sometimes you have to go to Hawaii to get a pineapple. You know what I mean? It's like, that's my goal in my retirement days, and use it as a marketing tool as well, to market what we have locally.
The cooperative model is really great. It's just less risk overall
Right,
for one
right.
singular person, and having a market that's more consistently open would, in these areas where there's kind of the food desert thing
Right.
going on, would be really great. So I'm all about that
Me
cooperative
too.
market stuff.
I know, like, I went to the Asheville Farmers Market
Oh, man.
a couple of months ago, and I was just like, whoa. This opportunity, like, there's all kinds of, like, we could have that, you know, we could have that here, you know? Any other aspirations?
More diverse, like diversification of agriculture in the area. Somehow incentivizing that and having these cooperatives would definitely tie into that.
Okay.
I think we
I'd like
should,
to see more ag-related businesses come in
Yeah.
the county. We missed a couple of chances on some feed mills, and that's a lot of jobs that was turned down, I believe. I think we should relook at that, and see what's out there, what we could have.
I think he's right. I think, and we've kind of discussed it, I think there's an area that is prime if we could just recruit the right business, and it would really help the farmers.
Yeah, particularly because it is livestock.
Exactly.
To have a feed mill
Yes.
would only make sense.
maybe we can aspire to get more farmer engagement,
Oh, that's a good one.
work pretty directly with some of our constituents and hear from them. Create a platform that they could talk to us directly through, or if each district representative kind of took it on to engage with their farmers.
And recruit more young farmers. I was just looking what our population is not good.
It's mostly people that are reaching retirement age.
And that's happening in
It's
so
global.
many industries right now. We had the baby boomer generation is aging out, and so we need to prepare that, like you said earlier, we need to prepare that younger generation for not only agriculture, but a lot of other business.
Yeah. I mean, we're under 1,000 producers of all other about 1,300 or so, but we only have 107 young farmers.
I know a
In
lot of those,
2017.
the major barrier to that is student loans.
Right.
Which prevents you being able to get a loan to get farmland. So the student loan thing is a real big one for young farmers and healthcare as well.
Right.
That's more of a national
Right,
issue
yeah.
than a.
I think one thing to even get to that, we've let the infrastructure, I call like processing plants and that kind of thing, we've let that stuff go.
Aging infrastructure.
Yeah, we need to find some way to bolster that part of the circle. Because you can grow if you grow so much stuff and you don't have anywhere to keep it, it's gonna go to waste.
Growing part's not the hard part.
Yeah, and it's having markets, having, storage facilities. Well, one of the problems, I think, with the beef processing is they don't have enough cooler space to age the beef. And also with that is young people coming up that want to learn the business of cutting meat or butchery and that kind of thing. So there it goes back to, so it's all kind of in that same, I think, the infrastructure is what I think of it as, because if you could have everybody in the world growing food, but if you don't get it to a table, then it goes to waste, so you're not sustainable that way.
I think determining how much farmland we actually have in this county, and the status of it, so is that farmer that's retiring, is that land gonna be put up on the market? Like, what's happening to the bit of agriculture land that's left? Would that farmer be interested in doing an apprenticeship or something with the new young farmer.
Yeah, I've talked about that too,
Or
that
leasing the land.
if we had some sort of
If we could
incentive from the county as well,
Right,
as
yeah.
maybe some sort of,
preserve the ag land, I guess.
yeah, and have like a, not necessarily, maybe a tax incentive or,
Yeah.
or some sort of reason to do it, you know? That kind of thing is, I think, where I see our bridge to the county council, and, you know, the county.
We could go back to the educate, like she's talking about the young folks. What avenues can they do to get grants and stuff?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, no
to
one
buy
had how to
land
get
or
into it.
You know,
Grant
to go into the poultry
education.
business or whatever.
Right.
And what's available, like what avenue do you take? Do you need the 4, do you need just a 2, or what are you wanting to do as a farmer?
I think, and that goes along with what you're saying, like conservation, encouraging more people to go into conservation type fields, and then in turn, you know, there may be a farmer that has their land in conservation, but maybe they don't have anybody to take up farming and have some kind of cooperation between the two. I think that's an opportunity, you know, waiting to happen right there.
Yeah. I did a program through University of Hawaii that was called Farmers and Apprenticeship Mentorship Program. And it was a grant funded 6-month program where you learned from educators, there were lectures, and there's a whole curriculum. And then you actually got paired with a farmer with so many years of experience and worked hands-on with them. And the grant funded the work. So the farmer got paid for you to work with them, and you got paid to work with them. So, and that was through the Farmers Union, the National Farmers Union. So I don't know if there's anything like that we can.
And that
sign
might
off.
be something that, there is a county grants writer.
I was gonna say.
So, I mean, that's a aspiration partnership where you could work on something like that in the future and help. Maybe she can help.
Partnership with that
Yeah.
grants writer, that would be
Yeah.
that's, you know.
So she works for the county and does all that. So that's another aspiration opportunity that y'all have.
I guess it would fall in this equipment for small farmers.
Ah, that's a
Like,
good one.
Yeah,
You know, something that share, like the county has, like the Cattlemen's Association, we have a no-till that we can rent for our pasture. I mean, there's other equipment that's possible that, you know, one time a year use that you don't wanna go buy it just for,
Right.
Fertilizer spreader would be excellent.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
We
That's,
have all these different, Cattlemen's Association, Corridor Association,
yeah.
Beekeepers Association. Do we have a cooperative? Do we have anything like a cooperative?
Soil and Water Conservation District has a sort of, they rent a drill too, don't they? Yeah.
But I mean, I guess what I'm,
Women's association. I'm sorry, like cooperation between the
Like-
association.
like, a farmer's co-op association, we're talking about a farmer's market co-op, but a public-private partnership, like maybe with John Deere, Ag Pro, somebody that you could buy, like with Farm Bureau, I know I'm probably dreaming, but like with Farm Bureau, like, we can buy our Dodge trucks because there's a discount. We can buy certain things because there's a discount. Is there a program for farmers to where if you're a member of the Oconee County Farmers Co-op, that you get a discount? Or,
closest thing I know is Farm Bureau.
That's it.
That's it.
It's a good idea to start one. That's a great idea, I think.
I mean, you know, if you could get, like you said, everybody on the same page and agreeing, cooperating, and, you know, and working together, we could, and then that would probably put us on a better path to recruit younger farmers and to become self-sustaining, because then we would be working together and we would know who has honey, who has, you know, plant seeds. I mean, you know, that's crucial. You gotta have the right seeds in the ground in order to grow what we need to grow. You know, that knowledge and educating the farmers, and then being able to purchase things, like you said, equipment, because that's key.
Also like to see us we're running out of veterinarians in this area.
Oh, that's a good
Like no
one.
large animal vets are
Yeah.
there.
Mike's retiring, ain't he?
Yeah.
Andy's had both hips replaced. He
Yeah.
can't do cattle anymore. I have to go to Georgia. Or either,
We use Martin.
Martin, yeah.
We use Jason.
I use them as
Justin,
well.
Justin and Jason, they're two over
I mean, there's no veterinary school in South Carolina.
No.
Yeah.
It's just something if we could
Georgia's
attract
a-
Right,
somebody.
Georgia's the big one.
Yeah.
Affordable.
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 There's a lot of them going.
Because if it doesn't, if you pay more into your animal than you're getting out, that's not.
Along those lines too, on the horse side too, people insuring and training.
Yeah, because we don't
There's a few
have,
in far between
We
too.
don't have that.
Is there any kind of trade school for that at Tri-County Tech?
Not that I know of.
Horseshoe farriers?
Farriers?
Well, a friend of mine's farrier. He went somewhere up. I forgot where he
Gotta
went.
go far away to get it?
Oklahoma, New Mexico, Georgia.
That's a little bit,
used to have
let's,
a
Yeah,
that's
that's
far.
a commitment.
yeah.
I was hoping to.
And that's crucial too.
Right, exactly,
Yeah, but I
because
mean-
we're kind of like a desert in some of those things. It's, the farriers are all busy, or, there's not enough to go around here.
If you've got a calf, you got to pull, and you can't get a vet. Vet's all the way in Georgia or Martin,
Martin,
far
yeah,
away
he's
as he
45
is.
minutes from me, yeah.
Chances are you
You're gonna lose
lost
that.
it.
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I had, one of our expensive horses had an accident. My daughter called me, I put her on the trailer. I mean, Andy had just had hip surgery, was on the phone with Andy. And he's like, well, I'll see what, I was like, I'll just put her on the trailer. And, luckily I got her to Justin and he took care of her, but
Right.
it was just by the
That's a
grace,
devastating thing.
by the grace of God that
That's
night.
right. Any other aspirations? Alright, I'll pull this one. Thank you, Kim.
I just thought of one, look at all this.
And then, what I'm gonna do right now, we're gonna do results, but we're gonna do a little side thing before we do that. We're gonna think of some goals. So you have got, notepads in front of you, little sticky notes. What I want you to do is write down on each one, write down your top 5 goals. So one sticky note per goal.
Oh. I just gave you one. That's all I did. No, Rick.
Go ahead. Write down the one.
Right, one goal.
One goal you want to accomplish, or one goal you have for this committee on each sticky note. So you'll have 5 sticky notes.
Goals to accomplish, not necessarily this year, or are we doing
No,
short-term
not
goals?
this year. Just what are you kind of here for? Goals that you would like to see. It could be 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, or any other thing in between. And when you're done, I want you to go on the other side of the projector screen and just post them up. build a nice cushy chair.
Got more than five.
Huh?
Have more than five?
Yeah.
Well, don't go crazy, but try to keep it 5 to 7, let's say.
Okay.
I know all of y'all are very goal oriented, so.
Can't spell.
We're not gonna deduct for spelling.
Read on right. Fast.
Over there.
Yeah, just stick them anywhere on the wall over there. You can make a pretty pattern or whatever. I'm gonna go over there and do some work too, after all of y'all get it together. Love seeing all those goals go up. Huh?
But I needed to stand up anyway.
I know, that's why I wanted y'all to go up and do it. I could have done it, but I want y'all to get up and get moving a little bit.
Wow. I ain't even want to stay still too long.
Reach out. Thank you.
Anybody else, you know,
Yeah.
because it's harder to they get together. Andy's going to do some community service.
Okay.
It's a guy leases property, and he's got trouble with his fence, and they want to go out and do stuff
Oh,
like
yeah, I
that
like that.
for older farmers.
Yeah. Cool.
That
I'll
may
definitely
be
reach
that'd
out.
be a cool thing to do.
Definitely. Like mutual aid.
Me and Bob Moore don't get along.
It's not my favorite form of fencing.
I think worked on the fence a little bit today, and it looks like 14 cats is in the open.
Uh-oh.
Are you Kay's daughter?
No, I'm her niece.
Neat, okay.
I'm Rick's daughter.
Kay, well, she's a year older.
Okay. Did you go to school together?
Yeah, we went to school together. Yeah, she was cheerleader. With- Yes, sweet lady.
Yeah,
You up
however.
in Mountain Ridge?
I'm not on, Peekaboo.
Okay. You know Ronnie Lee? Ronnie Lee?
I think I do.
Chambers Mountain?
Using categories, or we just?
Nope, you just put it wherever you want
You got
to.
a son? What's his name?
I'm gonna kind
Keith, is
of
it?
mess around with them,
Keith?
so.
Does a lot of
Yes,
work for me, you know, spreads litter.
I
Oh, they
know
farm.
Rick, but Charles and I were in school together.
He
Really?
knows
I
Bill's
grew up
plumbing.
with the Lombars, Beth.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we
Yeah, he
all
is a great
hung
guy.
out
Oh, I love
kinda
I love
together.
a white good rep.
That, I'm gonna, once
Everything
everybody
else.
gets
Do the
this up, I'm
clogging?
going to
Yeah, I
mess
was a
with
Mount
them a
Rest
little
clogger,
bit,
as a
so
matter
if
of
y'all
fact.
wanna take a break or go to the bathroom, this is the perfect opportunity to go, but hopefully we will be out of here, my goal is by 7:30, so. Or earlier.
Thank you. I guess we'll talk next week about what's going on with that. I'll get some water. I need to go walk around. If I sit there too long, I won't be able to get up.
I fall asleep, is what I'll do. That's awful to say.
What are you doing Saturday?
Dragging limbs, you wanna help?
Well, what are you doing Saturday afternoon?
Trees, dragging limbs.
Because I never did include it, but I never thought about it. But I think it was. That is the other, doesn't you know? Yes. Resource guide. Thank you for giving me that. And I went back there and looked, I'm gonna go look at my junk.
Yeah, well, we have to go to Clemson to get roads by or seven.
Let me give her my toilet paper.
I've been having to do with.
Yeah.
Although I have been able to buy it. Yeah, for a while.
There we go.
It was worth.
And for some reason, this
Well,
week,
yeah,
I've
let's
had 4 days just so I'm gonna go through and clean it.
Very nice.
And then once it,
But I'm, got it. This week. And I saw it, and I looked, and I was like, that was still, I mean, I was just like, you didn't go like that. You didn't. So, but it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, I know. I was hesitant because I did the meditation, you know, with COVID. And I got, I had almost, and I did. I'm kind of glad I did because everything, so it's fine. So I'm not always at my desk, but I'm just really, I used to work from home, and I will go with the kids, and with this, because they've got 2 phones. So it's fine.
found out the email. You know, somebody told me today, that the boat, talking about that. Somehow the tree that the county has sometimes.
Yeah, Ronnie, his daddy had a bunch of those old hit and miss motors. He was a good guy. I used to go up there a lot and put it with them things. I never got any of them, but I got some old
Today, I had to.
Olivers,
They were trying to send me
H, nails, stuff like that.
date and go to get a chance, do not sign up. It's called it's an HMO, but it's a D.
I'm just kind of busy.
My people, nurses, I feel for them. My daughter-in-law's one that has to wear a mask all the time.
Like categories.
I can't,
I work outside, so I don't,
We're not doing that.
it's hard, I mean, to get used
it's
to.
hard to get your breath.
Yeah, I don't know how my
Just
daughters,
getting kids.
they're all day long, you know, nursing their daughter-in-law.
I just
We usually wear them in the chicken house when I pick up chickens, but most time I'll wear one when it's real dusty.
So, I can't,
I'm like, I keep breathing.
my glasses stay fogged up, I can't see.
arrange something like this, you wanna make sure, and you don't know unless somebody.
We'll get out of it one of these days.
I got a
I told her
question.
what I did, 'cause I kept having
How
trouble.
are you?
Unless you-
It was pretty cool. I was on Maui, and I was in the most remote part of Maui. You didn't have anything out there except tropical jungle and beaches. Yeah, it's like a
Forgot what it was.
very famous highway. It's like one lane, 2 hours
So what I
to
finally
get
did is I put
to
it
the rest of the island.
but we keep
So I was pretty much just in
And that's,
But that doesn't help.
Maui my whole 5 years that I was there.
No, Amanda Callahan.
I loved
do,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm building her house.
The job
Oh, that's
was
right.
And I knew
365
somebody in
days
this group that they knew, and I wasn't sure who it was.
Yeah, how's that
I
going?
know her name.
Going, we're, got the roof on it
So it
today, we're
was
gonna start siding hopefully tomorrow
not something
Friday.
that
Nice.
you could do for
Is it one
long
story?
at the-
It's
at
a
the
story
rate
and a
that we were
half.
going.
Okay.
So, a great room,
Y'all
vaulted
was
ceiling, and they
wide
got
open,
3
I
bedrooms
guess.
upstairs.
Yeah, the owners
Yeah.
were,
So,
I'm so excited for them.
yeah,
know the
yeah, they're
definition
they're
of
great
rest.
people to work for.
Yeah.
and so we were open to
Yeah, they,
tourists
You
365
talking
days
about
a year.
Amanda,
Yeah.
she told me y'all were visiting her.
Are they
place.
doing like a crawl
For
space?
holidays, every day, 365 days
That's
a
a
year.
crawl space.
Who was that? The
They're building a big
vacation
deck
paradise
most
of
of
the
the way around
world.
the house.
Yes.
And killing you.
They
And I
have
was
big
killing
plans for
myself,
that.
yeah.
so,
That'd be cool.
it would be.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I told
beautiful.
him, keep me
Going to the
updated, I
beach
think he
didn't
does
happen
his
too much.
music.
It was very,
like to go
I was very far.
Watch him whenever.
I do, when he does it online, I like to watch him online.
No, the
He'd
Maui,
sing and dance, they're so funny.
which I'm biased, but
My
I think
husband's a
that's the
builder
best.
too.
Do they?
Like Sue.
I've not been to Maui, I've just been
And,
to a lot.
He's,
Polynesian Garden.
he has been the busiest, last year was so big, everybody else.
I haven't been.
You did?
But the big
It's
thing
like
now
a
is
farm,
the
that's what I
price of
was-
materials.
I
Yeah.
think if I was going.
Well,
to
BJ's,
Maui,
Amanda's.
afford it.
I got,
Maui is just.
we got their
like a
foundation in, 'cause they
good
had,
mix.
some cash in it, and I said, do that, and
The
let's just wait.
jungle, the
Right.
more rural kind
Well, I
of
kept every week, so I
Hawaii,
get their lumber
And you also have a
quote
little bit of
updated,
city.
and he finally, it's okay.
Oahu's
It dropped,
developed
I think
and
November, so it
a
dropped a
lot
little
more
bit.
And the way to
touristy,
do
so
it.
it's just
But then
hard
it's,
to get
it's
around.
jumped back up, but they
Unbelievable.
got
I'd
some,
like to see the island.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm,
it's,
I'm,
I mean, you can
I've
go
got so
there.
much going, I can't keep moving, I'm
He can't
surprised.
either. Yeah, he can't either. And he's trying to retire.
Yeah,
But the owners are super old,
I
and
just-
I don't know.
like I said, my dad was a builder, and I
So they weren't really
I
with
just
it.
put a thing on Facebook that I was gonna start doing this
As far as
about
like
4 years
just
ago, and I,
understanding the
the Lord
scope
blessed me,
of
I've
the
been,
farming.
He has done it,
people.
he's been here
very,
for, 25 years, but,
interesting people.
he has, he,
But I got,
made his-
I got a whole.
most of what he
four-year
does is
education
high-end
with that
remodels around the
management
lake.
job.
And there were so
I
many
was called
places
out
that were
to
built back in the,
college
you know,
degree, so.
80s,
Yeah.
70s and 80s that
yeah.
needed remodeling, they had so much equity in the property.
Oh, yeah.
He went in and transformed their places, and
Yeah.
because that still to this day, in fact, he's
And
been
it was interesting to see the different
Oh,
islands, how rural they were.
one,
as
well, it's
opposed
been like
to-
3,
And the only reason, like I said, that I. we
in
were
one
ever in
subdivision, and he went, almost like went from house to house, and now they're starting calling it
back home,
Bassett.
that's always our story.
We've got two going on side by side right now.
So we would stay
Wide open.
4 days and then come
I'm done.
home just to try to catch, but I would like to
No,
go.
you know, remodeling yet, and I'll be honest, I don't
We just never
figure
did,
how to price it,
never have.
Ridiculous.
or what you gonna get in, run into.
Biggest
Don't, that's
businesses
the
in
thing.
Ghana,
People don't
where
get
I
it
was,
either.
was just like what
I
they
mean, you know,
call
you
the
start
old
tearing out
white,
floors
a lot
and,
of indigenous
you know,
people
something
there.
rotted, and you just,
But one of the primary
Well,
businesses
you run
there was
into,
the ranch, and they did
You know, a mess of
grass-fed beef.
wiring, you
Yeah.
got to
And I
redo
got
that, and
pretty good friends with
You
the
have to
ranch
do,
manager
you know,
there,
like
and that was really
update.
cool.
The biggest thing now is they, on this,
Being in like,
you
you're
know,
right
like
next to the beach,
fire alarm
but
systems
there's
and all
like
that kind of
big
stuff.
old
If you do
ranch
one
there,
room,
a couple thousand acres.
your house, the
I
whole
saw
house.
that on
Yeah.
RFD.
oh,
Did you?
that's,
Yeah.
in my trade, I'm an electrician, that's,
Really?
I never.
so I've rewired a few houses too, and I put in
I
generators.
like a cattle ranch.
Right.
And it's pretty in generator, you have to
Yeah.
upgrade,
And
them. They all have to be up
it's
to code.
terrible, cause they would,
And
That's
if you,
what
for
we've
the
been,
major
Right,
meat
it's right
processing, they
there
actually had to ship
and
the cows
You can't get 'em
to
now,
the
they're-
mainland.
I know.
But there was a
I told
small
Mike
meat
when this
packaging
the whole deal
operation on
started,
the
I said, we
island
need to
for
get
inter-island
now.
20 weeks,
packaging
um,
and sales.
I,
You
got,
mentioned California.
So,
California's one.
What I did here was kind of develop categories. Sorry, it's kind of spatially weird, but these are categories I kind of created up from what you were doing. Great ideas. This is education. So we're kind of grouping these as something that y'all are all focused on what the more post-it note categories are. So this indicates kind of where you should be going, where you all meet in the middle with your goals. So this is education. So some ideas we'll share. Develop an education curriculum for the SDOC. Educate community about ag. Educate about ag. I put encourage gardening. That's education, I guess, in there. Educating about ag equipment. And then inform and educate about diversification of farming. So there's your education card. This is kind of your farmer support. That's where y'all are heading to. I think that is the most category that y'all had, is farmer support. So some of your ideas there was support farm center, get major players involved to help, processing, market support, food system support, market, animal processing, food, DHEC kitchen. So this is where y'all are kind of angling. So when we try to settle out our goals, this is probably where y'all are at. This would probably be your top goal. You can change it, but that's kind of where all of y'all are meeting in the middle there. This is kind of different way to help for farmers. More agribusiness, establishing farm network, establishing ag networks, expanding opportunities, information portal for farmers, funding availability kind of site, equipment purchase, training. So that's kind of your farmers help training kind of thing. A couple of other categories. These are kind of your little outliers, but here's another one. Preservation and conservation. Keep farm law, direct farm law. Preserve ag lands. Determine farmland. Conservation. Sustainability with that. And then your other one is farmers co-op. These right here seem to be, these are young farmers, more related, and we can stick that in education, but these were kind of stuck more out as apprenticeships and diversification of young farmers, and then just a couple of other things. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think about those categories?
The meat packaging just seems like a really immediate,
Yeah,
necessary thing, because that's our main agriculture right now, is
right,
dealing with livestock.
right, exactly. So, that being, would y'all like to make that a goal for this committee?
I'd say yes.
Yes, okay, so,
We were asked by the community for help in the meat processing, so I think
Okay.
that's.
I think, and I think
Okay.
we don't need to limit it to meat too, it's processing.
Yeah,
in general.
generalized
Yeah,
agricultural product processing.
the protein is definitely immediate goal, and then,
okay, so, we're gonna go back to our SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, we need a meat processor. How y'all gonna do it?
We can only advise, but I think
Right.
with the context that we have,
Okay.
we need to, Are you asking like us individually? Because like I probably would do something totally different than,
Right, well, you can do individual or as a group. I mean, that can come together. How would you recruit? How would you get this to come to Oconee County?
I think we need to look into, the economic development, area, because I think
So,
it's like getting help from,
okay. What you're saying is you want to form kind of a partnership with the Oconee Economic Development?
something
Is
like
that
that,
kind of-
yes. Or just at least have a contact where we can discuss bringing in investors, whatever. I don't know what the process of that is.
That's
but,
it. Relationship.
Yeah.
Figuring out what the main holdup is with the processing right now, and like what we can do with, before we build another facility or whatever, look into that, like what, immediately can we fix? I know we talked about like more storage space, like a cooler space, maybe off-site processing, so if there was a approved kitchen or whatever that more processing could be done with.
For small scale, like people who are just trying to grow, to raise their own cow for their family, I know that some places, some states are doing mobile processing. I don't know how we would even do that, but I know that it's
Well, it's investigation.
there's like a bottleneck because there's people who just want to process one cow, and then there's people, or like a few chickens, and then there's people who, need to do a lot larger scale stuff.
Also, there's recently, somebody sent me some information about a grant, a federal grant that's working on this particular problem, is it's just not our problem. It's all over the United States. To, like you said, retool, present facilities and, or, there's a one going through now where they're trying to develop a grant to help small processing facilities. Got a copy of it, but
I
in the
guess,
process.
would this qualify under that? Oh, I'm like, I got vaccinated.
Lucky.
I wear this 8 hours a day, I'm tired. No, I'm joking, I'm being smart. What about, for the small processing you were talking about, and the cannery, like he was talking about, if we identify, because it's an easy thing to do, all of the DHEC certified kitchens that maybe are no longer in use, and what I mean by that is, I know the Tomasi DAR no longer has the student population, so my question is that kitchen sitting idle? Could it possibly qualify, and they have grant writers, but a partnership, could they possibly qualify for a grant to upfit it for that area? People could bring their stuff and use that kitchen. I'm just kind of spitballing. Another one might be the Blue Ridge Kitchen over there. Could it be upfitted and used? Could Walhalla possibly use one of the kitchens there, like what's in the old middle school building? Is it being used for lunch, or could that be a partnership? The Rex, Oakway's another one, yes, and those are what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, that's perfect.
Identify the
Yeah.
former
Existing
DHEC
things.
certified kitchens to see what that criteria they would meet. I mean, sometimes it's just not cost effective, you have to look at that too. But these kitchens, I don't think have been unoperational for
Yeah.
such a long period of time.
Right,
that
like the
they couldn't-
DAR school is not.
It's less than a year.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Once-
could they be brought back up?
Jennifer, can I hop in for a second? So, I'm looking, these are all great ideas. The one kinda, you ever like play the game, you open up a Chinese fortune cookie and at the very end you say like in bed or something at the end of it,
Yes.
like, kind of thing? The in bed part of this has to be how you present it to council.
Right.
Okay.
Because you all don't do anything. There's
Right.
nothing like you all, and I hate to say it like that, but like you all are farmers, you like doing
Right.
things.
Right.
Yeah.
This is it as an advisory kind of thing, so whatever the end of this is, needs to be that we are going to ask council to investigate
Yes.
this.
Yes.
You know, and really, that has to be the end of it. It's not like Debbie's gonna run out there, go to an Oakway school. I mean, she probably will, but it's not like, that's the goal.
I didn't even mean that. I meant just a list, and then the next step would be present it to who could do something about it.
Sure,
Not us. We can't do anything about it, but the community
Right.
asking for processing, they were asking, I know, for small animal, but then they were also asking for other things as well, I
Yeah, well,
think.
the
Am I wrong?
thing, Adam, don't run away. I guess this is kind of, and I always feel like, it's, if you don't ask questions, you're stupid, so I'm gonna ask this question. What is the process how we communicate with council as far as like, okay, we have all these people in our community that raise animals. They don't have anywhere to process it, and we know there's investors out there that are looking to invest in a processing plant. How do we ask them to get that together?
Sure, so like and this is just not me having talked with anyone, this is
No,
just
I know,
a-
I just wanna know
Hey, that's
process.
perfectly because it's on YouTube. It would be to ask council to maybe, when they're looking at setting their goals for the year, to somehow prioritize looking at investing in, so for instance, the auto industry is a huge thing that
Right.
we have economic development for, right? We have board, all the other ones, BASF. So asking the county council to look at, agricultural type businesses. And if we happen to know that there's a need and we can provide them with that information, if we happen to know that there are, like you said, investors,
Right,
network
right,
them with our economic alliance, things of that nature. So the biggest impact, I believe, is that you all get together, present something to council and say, problem, solution, and
So we just decide as a group that we wanna present this to council, and then
Right.
we write a letter or whatever, do we meet with them, I guess I'm just a process oriented.
How do they hear about it?
sure, just like with the ag disclosure letter and the real estate letter, you can, of course, prior to any of the public meetings, meet with your individual council members and kind of speak about it, give them a little background information, and then we'll get on the agenda and present it to council. And really, that's the idea, say, okay, we're advising you as the agricultural advisory board, say, this and this is, you have been advised.
Got it.
We can't,
So who is our chairman is John, correct?
Yeah.
John Elliott, District 1's, right?
That's what I thought.
But you can also speak to your individual ones. You can also speak to anyone you want to. But I usually start with the person you're appointed by and then go from there. This is a matter of,
Right. And if you bring out, this is working on issues you see, you can bring those to your council member. And, like you said, they work with economic development. That's a perfect partnership that can happen between council and
that's correct.
that.
so so if we had say we had this great idea for investors and we brought it to council, said, look, we've got this going on, and we would just call one of our council members or present it as a whole, or how, I guess I'm not seeing how we get from one point to the other, but.
Just like we do with the ag disclosure letter. Same
Okay.
idea. You all discussed it. You said, we're gonna do this, and then we present it to council. I mean, that's same, for whatever it is, that's the general process. You all talk about it, vote on it, send it up to council. One of you all,
And
I
as
recommend
far as
one
we
of you
can
all.
go, we don't have any other, other than just hounding them about it.
Right, yeah.
That's
but-
right, because you've advised them. You're
You
their.
advise
Okay.
them.
Okay.
These things are the categories you feel are most important in the county, and you can advise them on those issues.
Okay.
I'm just like thinking out loud. When we're presenting something, problem, solution, would it be helpful to get letters from people who are having the problem? Would it help kind of make council see that it is a priority, or should we just get like statistics?
People in the audience are always a good thing to bring if you bring bodies, of course. Not looking to blindside them either, because this is you're a part of this governmental body, you're the man. So, I'd recommend that, letters help. If you wanna bring people to support, what you're saying, like, hey, we brought, these 19 farmers who all support this, and here's the statistics. And, you all can't force them to act, but you can just give them the information they need and they'll make the best decisions they can.
We do have 4 letters from the community that we read back in
Right.
October, November,
Right,
requesting relief on the meat process.
right. And so that's something that you could bring around, like, this is something that you can kind of,
Circle back. They did
Circle
adopt
back
that
around.
resolution.
Yeah, they did
too.
the,
Yeah,
They did, so they are aware, so maybe we just need to
Yeah.
reevaluate.
yeah.
There's a
Um,
survey that Clemson Extension did that, I don't know, all the Cattlemen's Association filled it out.
Right,
we had a local group did one too. We have the results of that.
I mean, I got I think the Clemson, they sent it out.
Well, if we were to get investors or whatever, would we be looking at like a county-run facility, or would it be a private?
Probably not.
That would be up to, we don't
That
get
would
to
be up
make
to the
that.
county,
Yeah.
but
Up
I think
to
what,
them.
you knock over the first domino.
Right.
That's what you all do, and what
Right.
happens after that is really not
right,
the hands. Now, you can always advise them, say you see something hooking right and it should go to the left, you can bring that up. But really, the job of this group is to knock down that first domino and get it rolling. And after that, we really don't have any.
The facility that closed down recently, is that like up for sale? Like, could we just invest in buying that and?
well, they didn't really close down, they just closed to public,
Process.
the processing part to, to like Larry
like someone.
can't take his,
They change their business.
they changed their business plan.
Yeah,
Who is that?
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later.
But I do think the cannery would be, like she mentioned.
right,
Those schools, that was part of, my childhood. I didn't like breaking the beans
right, yeah.
and selling
That's
them, but
something that could happen as part of that processing.
It would be
Um,
a
putting
little cost is
places-
what I'm thinking.
Right,
Doesn't Tri-County Tech have some kind of culinary?
yeah, Tri-County, and I know the Career Center has a culinary arts thing.
Seems
at
like you
Hamilton
could get
Career
that.
Center.
Connected with that somehow, it would be a good thing too. You know,
Right.
because it's, like I said, if you don't have it to prepare,
Right,
I know they're concentrating on preparation, but
people looking for
Right.
processed beer, too.
so encourage partnerships. Okay. All right, so that's kind of, do you have anything else to add as steps to establish this goal? All right, so what you're basically, like Adam said, reevaluation, what your next step is to creating this, making this goal happen, is to do the legwork to present to council. So, if that's, would it be, like, if they had statistics on it, would that help out?
Yeah, I mean,
For-
at this point, this is kind of like an outline for like almost like a research paper.
Right, yeah.
So I think at this point, we could hang on to this piece of paper
Right.
and then either say, okay, well, Ashley's gonna kind of like dig into this and
Right.
bring something back to the next meeting, or,
Right.
so this is a great, it's outline for research paper essentially, and then we can go
Right.
from there.
All right, so that's it.
Maybe we can each like bring something next week in the meeting, some ideas of how to.
I'll be glad to send. I don't know how you want to do it. If you want to keep
Fax.
this, and do you want to
Facts everything.
fax everything? Okay. So you've got one goal there. All right, and your next big thing was education. Your results for education.
With that, it would be kind of presenting the problem that that farmers are phasing out more than coming in to agriculture, and somehow pressing the importance of the school district developing some kind of outreach or curriculum to the young people in this area.
How about like in Tri-County Tech too?
Yeah, totally.
I'd like to see, I always thought that they should have done like Greenville Tech and had the ag classes here at Oconee.
An incentive for getting involved with agriculture, getting started? Like,
Well, the problem is, we've explored that, and the problem is that you can't present how many jobs agriculture provides to these young graduates. And so if they're not gonna see graduates placed in jobs in agriculture, they're not gonna help us with the program. A dual enrollment program would be fantastic at the Career Center, and teach little, agriculture courses and let it slide into a 2-year or 4-year degree. But if we can't show them how many jobs that it'll, end up with.
They did have that animal science ag program. It was animal science ag business in the 80s there.
I know.
But it phased out mainly because of that, because you either transferred into Clemson and
That's-
went on, or it was one of those situations. And then you had the corporate farms at that time too, buying everybody.
I know,
I look,
I've been on the soybean board for 15 years, state soybean board. And Clemson has a hard time keeping agronomists. They'll get agronomists and Monsanto, whoever grabs them up, we do them and, they're gone.
Right.
And that's a field too for young people. There's a big need for agronomists in the state. Plant science, any kind, we're hurting big time. That's another field, that we need to really look into.
I think when it comes to education, I know everybody says they have their own, but I think we need to partner with Clemson, try to figure out how to make it.
It's supposed to be part of their, special extension is supposed to be education,
Right.
along with their research arm. And really, they're going more toward the education arm than they have the research. But if we would have to, again, probably encourage the county council to encourage a particular, program for us
Right.
that's geared toward Oconee County.
Right. Well,
I don't know how to say it. I mean, I don't know how else that
and I don't
would
know
work.
what I'm saying. I know the young farmers, not the young farmers, the Cattlemen's Association, I'm sure, have met the new beef guy, right? With extension.
Chris Talley.
Probably not.
oh, yeah, I know Chris.
Well, yeah, probably
Maybe
not
we
with
can.
COVID, but I'm just saying, but I think maybe as a
I think he
board,
came
we
on
can
about a
maybe,
week before the court.
I'm sure that y'all promoted him, but somehow get the word out of who's where and, how to get people help.
That's where I look at it more. Education, I think like for myself.
Right,
Yeah.
If I have a
don't-
problem with, right now, foxtail is killing my pastures.
right.
Where can I go to find information?
I have a similar problem in even getting soil testing right now, so.
It's difficult.
I know, I call Chris when I have a question, or Mark, used to be Morris, but, where's their,
They're not doing, they're kind of, it's hard to get in the door there now.
yeah.
I think, and it's not just young people, I think we were talking about, I think there's a disconnect. And one thing you're gonna be able to have to do is you're gonna have to have a job available.
Yeah.
And I know when I've been investigating this processing thing, and one of the problems everybody says is, this is just an example, is like, they can't keep help. So my question was, what do you pay them? And they said $10 an hour. Well, that's not a living wage. And I understand that farming is, food anyway has to be cheap for people to buy it, so they have to maintain it. But we're not gonna be able to train somebody at Tri-County Tech or Seneca High School or anywhere else and say, when you get this job, you're gonna make $10 an hour. Because they don't want, I mean, and it's not an easy job. So what we have to do is find a way, and this is gonna be, is a national issue, like I said, and part of that grant was an education part. And to support, support people, to support labor, and to find a way to make that a valuable commodity to have. And labor is valuable as much as we can grow. You've got to have labor that can sustain themselves. So that, it not only goes for young people, it goes for everybody.
Right.
So,
So, with these education, how are you gonna present that to council?
Well, can I ask,
Eat it.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
We keep going back to the school district, and I think we've tried before, because we've had some of their ag teachers come in and talk to us, to form that relationship
Right.
with them. I don't think that's something we can do on our own to promote education. I think we've got to have buy-in from the high schools, ag teachers, to want to support the fair, want to support, the education side of it. I think somehow there's got to be, maybe our first step, is it permissible for us to have the ag teachers and have the conversation like we did, or anybody that wants to come to the meeting and the agenda be education, ag education, and what is the community looking for? What are, just like Larry says he needs help with foxtail. Where do we find those, as advisors, where do we advocate for people to be able to find that information in education? I know that's a little different than what we're really talking, but I think somehow there's a starting point.
So to answer the first question, yeah, I mean, you would certainly invite whomever you like to here to come speak and education and kind of get the message out, of course. What are you gonna do with that? Or what you will do with that is you have to somehow coalesce that and bring it to council.
Exactly.
So that would be the next step.
Right, so once, like with this year coming up and budgets coming up, and I know the school district has theirs, would it not be a good time to have those educators come in? They talked about it. Their budgets were being cut to where they're no longer 100 and whatever days.
Right, they're not 365 days there.
seasonal, yeah.
Yeah, so when they're going to the barn at Oakway, at West Oak, to take care of the animals during the summer, they're not getting paid. They're doing that because that's what they do. And that's what they were talking about. And I think that may be, if you don't pay for it, you're not gonna get a quality education for your kids. And I think maybe the emphasis needs to be put on, like Debbie said, they were giving more money.
Right, so if the number one issue is money, which is really the one thing the county can control to a degree, then that just needs to be brought up to council. So you can gather the information, you can have people come speak. At that point, then the ag board motions, votes, somebody presents that to council that in part of the budget process, this is what, we're recommending.
In order to help promote agriculture in the county, we are asking you for X number of dollars, not X number, but to look
Right,
at.
so you go at the
Right.
school district, it needs it, not the ag board, but
right.
yes, correct.
Yeah, that's what I meant, I'm sorry, I didn't
Generally
say it
speaking,
correctly.
yes, that is correct.
Okay, I just asking.
So if you're advocating for raises for those teachers, then that's the meat of what you all are doing. So is it 1%, is it a 10%? I mean,
And I don't think we know, I think, their issue was, who was the guy, remind me? I know it was the West Oak guy and the Walhalla guy. When they go to the greenhouses to keep all that stuff going in the summer, that's an issue. When they go to the barns to keep whatever they have going there, they were just saying to us, we're not getting paid.
Sure.
So if you wanna know why ag education's not going like you think it should be going, here's the reason why.
So
Well-
basically, you grab that and you present it.
12-month contracts is what we're talking about, and they need a 12-month contract to be able to take the kids to camp, do their summer projects, and take care of the greenhouses and stuff. So the district was cutting them back some of them to 9 months, and some of them didn't want 12-month programs, 12-month contracts. So that's, you got a little blend there. But we talked to Dr. Thorsland in the beginning, and then he delegated it to Mr. Hanvey. Mr. Hanvey asked Josh McCall to be our liaison to the board. So we have a connection, we have a liaison there that we can work through. And of course, the other ag teachers as well, so, but Josh is our point of contact. We just hadn't been keeping it involved very well, so.
Maybe that's on us then,
That's-
sorry,
that's-
I overspoke.
Are these
No,
people
that's-
you're talking about, are they teachers
Yes,
Okay.
ag teachers.
for the high schools?
We have excellent programs. When we talked about the Tri-County Tech thing, Dr. Thorsman, I believe it was, mentioned that, well, the ag teachers are doing an excellent job in their programs, and they are. We have wonderful ag programs here. And the part of that is an adult component, young farmers, they're called, and they're young in name only, but they're, all the farmers, they're a support group to the ag program. And so, they're more fingers of the spoke or whatever going out, spokes of the wheel. So
Right.
their partnership's there.
All right, that's awesome. So we're gonna do education and how we can expand those offerings to present those offerings to council. So our last kind of, I'm trying to wrap up because we're limited on time. We've been here for about 2 hours, so I think that's kind of. Our last kind of big category was co-op and training. I know that kind of can go. I know the training can kind of go along with education, but what are you going to present? How are you going to present recruiting like a co-op to county council? How would you go about it?
There again, I think we'd have to start out with what the needs are for the community. We have, and that's also been discussed in the process in part two. I keep coming back to that because I've been talking to people
Yeah.
for the last few months anyway. But there's been a lot of success with co-op type thing. And one of the things that we could do would be to, go to council and ask for some sort of support for that. I don't know,
Can they find some kind of like funding within?
Grant funding or something.
Budget, yeah, that maybe supports establishing
Yeah.
cooperative?
Even if you had, I don't know, just like a network, a way, to network through the community that, each district supports,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? What am I, since we have 5 districts and they're diverse, but yet there are some of the similar needs that we might could find that we could work together and do better
What
as rather than individual.
What if we started with like a website that had listing of every producer or whatever and like the different areas of agriculture that go on in this county?
Database.
Yeah, and then maybe people could like list equipment they have if they're willing to, swap equipment or share or
Well, what
information.
probably we'd have to do to that is to identify a entity that was willing to do that and ask council to support that. And we
Right,
can't
so-
do it as a group, like you were saying, we
Right.
can't really do it.
Maybe something like the farm center could do that.
Yeah.
And encourage, them support for, I don't know, startup money or, helping them find a grant, or that kind of thing. I think that's how we would have to go about that. I'm catching on.
We'll learn, yeah.
It's all a learning process.
I think, and I mean, I don't mean to interrupt, but one thing that's always puzzled me is like groups like the Cattlemen's Association and beekeepers or whatever. It's like we almost have a disconnect there. They don't know that we're here to help them
Right.
with these issues.
There you go. That's establishing a connection in the community,
There we go.
which,
I didn't know how to say.
is that cool?
Okay.
Could we, I don't know how to do it, but do we have a Facebook page?
The county?
The advisory board, no?
And I don't think
Is that
we
allowed?
can,
That's not
right?
allowed.
At this point in time, I mean, I can certainly ask, but at this point in time, no, the county has, it's its own kind of social media presence.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, we were told we couldn't.
We're limited.
Maybe, is that something like, maybe something in the paper? Would that be something like to show that they are here and listening? I don't know, that might.
So I think the question is, how do we communicate better? I think
Yes,
that's the
yes.
goal to work on, for
Right.
sure. We can put all these things down
Right.
and kind of knock them out. We don't have to figure everything out tonight.
Right.
Just if communication is the key, then we can just brainstorm on what those ways to do are. Is it the paper, is it the Facebook, is it,
Yeah, that's kind of getting into another thing.
Right. I wasn't trying to do that, by the way.
No. Especially with governmental things.
Yeah,
that's
but
probably-
I do think that, that would be a source for, getting results.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's,
Right, exactly. Communication is key anywhere. It's, and I think we've all seen it. We live in this such digital age where there's so much opportunity for communication, yet we don't communicate with each other. That's a huge problem we have in our society. So if you could fix little parts of that communicating, hey, we're here to listen, that's an important part to start that.
Well, I can say, and ignorance on my part maybe, but before I was asked to be part of this board, I didn't know it existed.
Right, yeah,
Same.
that's what I'm talking about.
right.
Yeah, and I think that's when we first started, what, Adam, we're on year 5? We've been
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah,
so this is
that's a
5
long
years.
time.
So I think.
Let's do another
maybe
sheet
The
for,
first thing we should ask.
this is just communication effort.
And I'm gonna get my hand slapped here. Could they please promote that they have an ag advisory board? So that people know what kind of boards they have, or they may feel they've already done that, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've tried with the Beekeepers Association. I mean, I've put myself on the agenda, I've, stood up in a meeting, so I've done everything I can, but still, it's like it goes right over their head. And so, but I think one of the keys to that is if we find something that a goal that we have that we can show results from, then it'll wake up these other groups and say, hey, well, maybe they can help us with this problem with the county, and that kind of thing. Because it's been hard for me. I've been on I worked on the board before it was a board. We tried to get it developed, and what we wanted to do was to be able to bring stuff from the different parts of the ag community together to bring to council to show that we have a presence. And I don't know that we've actually, we've made little inroads, but I don't know that we've actually shown people what we can do.
Are we allowed to send out surveys as?
I don't know.
Well, once again, it's part of the overall scheme of things, if there's what would the survey look for, just broadly speaking?
Lots, I have a bunch of questions, but,
Alright, so let's say agriculture, just for
yes,
conversation.
Yeah.
Sure, so then we don't have any money to send stuff out. We don't have a platform to do it on, so once again, we'd have to, go to council and say, council, this is what we're doing. We wanna send out surveys to 1,000 people, a number of people. Okay, well, we need $500 for paper printing and postage, and we're gonna do this, that, and the other thing. So yes, we could, just as part of a proposal to, this is a problem, we wanna gather this data and then present you all with a solution to another problem. So yes, we can, there's just a step to it, to the process to it.
Okay.
What if these different what if it was like you started with the different associations? And, I mean, there's like a listserv for those associations and you can do Google, like you can use Google to make a survey, so you can skip the paper aspect.
Sure.
So would you, like, starting with people that are already on like an email list, I guess, could you start there?
Sure, as opposed to mailing stuff up, certainly. That is another way we can do things, but once again, since we're gonna be representing the county as a whole, it still has to get vetted out. So, you know, instead of asking for funds, just say, hey, this is same thing, except skip the funding part, and we're gonna send out this survey on Google, and it's gonna provide all this data, and with this data, we're going to do this. Yes, you can, and that's certainly a good way to do it. Email, we did not get, so when we did the comprehensive planning process, we had the surveys available online, and we got about 1,100 responses total over 13 months
Wow,
of surveys. So that's not, and now we weren't direct mailing it out.
right.
People had to go to it. So I mean, that's just the kind of response we got. And people who really like paper stuff,
Yeah.
for whatever reason,
Right.
who really like a
Yeah.
physical hard copy. Because we got like 600 paper copies of the surveys back. So,
Yeah, it's changed, you know, like, when we would send out our membership list through email. We lost so much money doing that, but when we resent them in paper, we got back plus in memberships. So, mail does work,
for whatever
for
reason.
whatever reason, yes.
I think people are just inundated with email.
Right.
And paper is getting less and less.
Right.
Oh.
You're like, oh, here's that reminder.
That stands out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Does anybody have anything else more to say? I know we're kind of tired and we're ready to go home and eat dinner.
I think one thing, I've been involved, you know, with the farm bureau for years. But they, when you tell them about a problem or whatever in the county, looking at the other counties in the state, their county council presents the problem to them, and then they go to legislators, fight for it.
Okay, so it's communication from council to Farm Bureau.
Because I've asked them a lot about making our roads farmer friendly. It don't matter what kind of farming you in, sooner or later, you're gonna get on the road with a piece of machinery. And the county can do, in the state, they can send letters to the state and have more signage or more whatever we need, you know, for farm equipment.
And that seems pretty like low-hanging fruit right there. If it's
Right.
signage, because we have a sign shop in the county.
Yeah.
And if all we have to do is pull permits with DOT for signs, or whatever that process is, that seems to be some very visual, very tactile wins that could be done.
Yeah, I was talking to Reg too, we talked about it. One problem that we have in this county, it's not a real problem in the rest of the state because they have wider roads. We have little narrow roads, and they've put the signs, we mentioned signs, they put the signs right on the edge of the roads and the mailboxes.
Right.
As farms has expanded, hay balers are wide now, we got big tires, combines, whole 9 yards. We have trouble going down the road, and when you meet traffic,
Yeah.
nobody knows what to do. And here you are, here's a sign, mailbox, here's a car stopped, and they can't get by. That's a real problem in this county that we need to really ask council to help us.
I think that's something, that sounds like what we can do.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
We could definitely
And
come up
it's
with.
even on 11, I mean, because they put the sign like right on the right of way, right off the bike lane. And if you're coming down through there with a bush hog and you've got to get over because, or, you know, you're trying to whatever you do. There are no more horse crossing signs at my house.
So our DOT, our local DOT office is very responsive. So that is, once again, something else we can do. We get together and say, give them some data, say we have signs on, and give them specific stuff, don't say Oconee County. Specifically, hey, on 5911, we have sign issues, here's where they are, can we start looking at a program of putting all the signs up? Like, those are things that are certainly doable.
Not only signs, but mailboxes also.
Mailboxes are federal.
It used to be that a mailbox had to be 5 feet from the edge of the pavement
Right.
back. That's the state law when I was with DOT. Now they
Well, we
put
can
the
look at
right.
Now
that.
they
That's
do,
what
yeah.
we should look at, sure.
Something else that's gonna hurt is the traffic circle. They're talking about the Oakway traffic circle again.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a sign yesterday after we talked about www.dot.gov and put your input in there. And we might wanna all get in there and input, because I saw what it did to the Beltline, Wells Highway. It took traffic from 45 to 25. And imagine a big truck going through there, you know, poultry trucks and all that.
Yeah, we have
Y'all go look at that.
I like
we have chicken trucks and feed trucks.
Yeah.
My trailer, I'm gonna hang a curb every time I do it and easily come out.
Just a regular
I'm just gonna tell you, I can't. I got 40 foot behind me. I'm not gonna, I can't make it.
I was talking to Jim
All right.
with the DOT on that, and he was saying.
All right, so y'all have got a couple of goals with some results that you can take to council. So I don't know, either Adam or I will populate this for you and send it out through email, just so you have what we've got going on. But I appreciate your time tonight. I appreciate what you do, and keep on working for Oconee Agriculture.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh,
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say before we do leave, Jennifer, we appreciate you doing what you do too, and we've got a little goodie bag for you.
Oh, thank
And there's one
you.
thing in here in particular. So this is for cafe.
Okay,
And,
awesome.
as, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Clemson Area Food Exchange, but, it does support local agriculture, and it is like a co-op where, producers can,